2017 was a pretty rough year for the mainstream media in their rush, of course, to attack President Trump. Well, many fake news mistakes were made. Perhaps the worst example is from ABC News. Last year, Brian Ross, he was suspended from ABC for 4 weeks without pay for this false report claiming that during the campaign, candidate Trump told Lieutenant General Michael Flynn to reach out to Russia. Take a look.
He's prepared to testify, we are told by a confidant, against President Trump, against members of the Trump family, and others in the White House. He is prepared to testify that President Trump, as a candidate, Donald Trump, directed him to make contact with the Russians, which contradicts all that Donald Trump has said at this point.
Now, of course, Ross was completely wrong, and hours later, he had to issue a correction. Watch this.
A clarification tonight on something one of Flynn's confidants told us, and we reported earlier today. He said the president had asked Flynn to contact Russia during the campaign. He's now clarifying that, saying, according to Flynn, candidate Trump asked him during the campaign to find ways to repair relations with Russia and other hotspots. And then after the election, the president-elect asked him and told him to contact Russia on issues, including working together to fight ISIS.
Now, there's a huge difference between candidate Trump and President-elect Trump asking General Flynn to contact his soon-to-be Russian counterparts. But ABC News isn't the only outlet caught reporting false stories. Fake news, CNN, the Clinton News Network had several high-profile fake news stories, like this report from early last month. Take a look.
CNN has exclusive new details about a message sent in the final stretch of the 2016 campaign offering access to hacked WikiLeaks documents.
This email on September 4th, 2016 was sent to Donald Trump, then candidate Donald Trump Jr., and others in the Trump organization. The timeline is important here because on September 4th, that was months after the DNC was hacked and after their own emails became leaked. And it was a month before Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta's emails were leaked by WikiLeaks.
And, of course, that story proved to be completely false as well. And don't forget that back in June, 3 CNN employees resigned over a story about a top Trump ally and a Russian investment bank. They had to retract that. And in December, one of the dishonest Washington Post reporters, David Weigel, he posted a picture from President Trump's rally showing a small crowd. The sarcastic caption reads, "Oh, packed to the rafters." However, this picture was highly deceptive and, of course, was taken before everyone had come in. Weigel had to apologize and then deleted the tweet. You know, spreading fake news wasn't the only major problem for the media in 2017. They also had some ridiculous examples of so-called reporting. Let's watch this.
The president gets 2 scoops. You know, everyone around the table gets 1, and no word if there were sprinkles.
At the dessert course, he gets 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream with his chocolate cream pie instead of the single scoop for everyone else.
It would be like somebody pooping their pants and then people looking at it and saying, oh, that's modern art. Don't you understand? I am making a statement against Russian aggression.
Mr. President, put this in the pickup.
So where do you put that?
You just right back. Put it back in the bed.
In the cab.
Wait, why?
Cab or in the, where do you put it?
What does that have to do with anything?
So we'll show the video eventually. But
we'll get the video.
He hands it into the front window of the guy driving.
Okay, thank you.
It's better when you see it.
But you have to just take it, because if the president's putting it in the wrong place, you know, here's your bag of cement.
If you think you've had an earful of Donald Trump, check out what's in the ear of a beagle in Britain named Chief. Brace yourself.
All right, joining us now, former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor, former Congressman Jason Chaffetz, radio talk show host, Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce. Dan, I look at all of this, it's beyond superfluous on some level, but then it's outright evil on another level when you start trying to not only delegitimize, but get a duly elected president thrown out of office.
Yeah, you know what's comically ironic about this, Sean? You know, we're supposed to take the media, their elite advice on economics, on education policy and healthcare, and they can't even get journalism right. Like, you had one job. Just get the facts right. You know, there are 2 stories here, though, too, that I want to point out that show you this really perverse incentive with the media to get Trump out of office. Just recently, we saw this thing about new expose. George Papadopoulos started the whole investigation and the dossier and everything. But the same outlet that reported this just reported last summer that Carter Page did it. So did they not find it strange that they're refuting their own reporting? And then the classic example was the print outlets reporting on Trump being wiretapped. And then Trump tweets he's wiretapped, and then these very same outlets write stories that Trump's crazy for saying he was wiretapped. Yeah, good job. You guys are great.
They're really doing a great job. Congressman Chaffetz, there's another side of this, and we've now seen this in the last 24 hours. Oh, let's see. The Clinton Foundation has been investigated now and being investigated for months. Oh, and Hillary Clinton's email server, that investigation is now ongoing. So there's big stories out here that they're not reporting on that could have severe consequences. And I will argue this may be bigger than Watergate by a long shot when it's all done. Thoughts?
Well, it was June of 2015 that I sent the very first letter to the Obama administration highlighting the problems with Uranium One, a 7-page letter highlighting all the details. I followed it up in October. Do you think there's one person in the mainstream media who actually even covered that story? None. Absolutely none. And then to see, one of the things that was most outrageous to me is when Time magazine put Donald Trump Jr. on the cover saying caught red-handed. It was absolutely totally misleading. And at the same time, this mainstream media tries to point to highlight the Obama administration as being scandal-free. Everything from Fast and Furious to the IRS to the Hillary Clinton email scandal to Lois Lerner. Do you think any of them put them on the cover of Time magazine? No. And these were real scandals. Look at Benghazi. People were killed. And they did get on the cover of Time magazine. But they put Donald Trump Jr. on there.
Yeah, Tammy, what's your take on it? Where does this go?
Yeah, look, let's not forget with Brian Ross, a great review of that earlier, Sean. Right after that report, the stock market went down 350 points. There are real-world repercussions when they lie or mislead. And let me just say, and this is why I kind of like the Michael Wolff book. It's a perfect example. It's nothing new. It is what newspapers and so-called journalists have been doing at the New York Times and the Washington Post when he, on page 10 of his prologue in this book, says, some of this is not really true, but I'm going to let the reader decide and determine what it is that they like or is true.
Yeah, by the way, what a standard that is.
Well, see, that's my point. That's exactly what the American media has been doing. Now, at least Wolff is admitting it. This is what the president has been dealing with for a year and a half. And it is to his we have to give him all the credit. Finally, we are now seeing it's not just about a difference in opinions or which road leads to Rome. It's about real misleading of Americans to where we now don't even trust who we should be able to trust, get information that we can believe in. The CDC is having a meeting and a briefing on how Americans can survive nuclear war. I would like to see the media cover that. But at this point, if the standard is we're going to not even really know what the truth is, but if it confirms our bias, we're going to put it out there and let you decide if you like it or not. That's what it's been devolved into. And the president is the one we can right now, the president's the one we can trust at this stage.
Dan, I look at, for example, I showed last night Ronald Reagan, Evil Empire. The media thought he was going to start a nuclear war. George W. Bush, Axis of Evil. They thought he was going to start, Armageddon. If you don't try and bribe murdering dictators and appease them with billions of tax dollars like Clinton and Obama, anything you say that might sound a little tough to a 2-bit rocket man dictator, offends them, not the guy that's threatening to hit the button that's on his desk. It's the president they're offended at, saying, you better not do it. We'll hit you back much harder.
Yeah, I mean, who really gives a hoot what they think anymore, Sean? The foreign policy intelligentsia on the North Korean issue, the Palestinian issue, and the Russian issue have been telling us for years what to do. Diplomacy, buy them off, money. I mean, these various solutions they put out there in their 35-page white papers. And you know what? They were wrong on pretty much every piece of it. No one even saw the Iranian protests coming. I have zero problem whatsoever with Trump using Twitter to kick this guy in the teeth, the short, fat guy over in North Korea. Maybe finally he's waking up to the fact that our foreign policy may be unpredictable. Maybe it's the predictability that, in fact, has been hurting us for decades now.
Congressman?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look at what's going on domestically. Today, the New York Times, one of the headlines was 25,000 points, on the stock market. But when's the party going to be over? I mean, they can't even give him credit when something really good like the economy is going so well.
And if I could just add, the president has inherited such a disaster It is remarkable what he's been able to accomplish despite the media trying to create this alternate reality and the establishment pushing it through. His wherewithal, the ability to see through that and to then defend this nation in this process is remarkable. And for everyone who voted for him, and as we move through this year, every single day, including this Wolf book and what the media is doing, reminds us about why we voted for Donald Trump and why he's the right one for this office right now.